We're just counting down the days until the start of this festival. Lisa, 7 years this festival has been running, but to me it feels like it's an institution that's been around for a long time. It's really embedded itself in that section of the city's part of the world.
Yes, thanks. I mean, before we began, there wasn't something similar. And we've just kept pushing and making it happen every year because we feel it is a really important platform for local filmmakers and international filmmakers who can show their films in a place, you know, that won't be seen in traditional cinemas. You know, we're not showing films with The Rock and people like that. We're showing much more art house cinema type of films, and yeah, we hope we keep going.
Now, as this festival has grown, what part of that development for you is the most encouraging?
I think, you know, each year we do hear back from the filmmakers and from the audience members, and that's what keeps us going. You know, we are an NPO. It's not easy to keep going, to raise money to keep this thing alive. And, you know, by the time the festival ends each year, we're renewed with enough energy to keep pushing and make it happen because it is an important platform, and yeah, we just need to keep it going.
Where are you getting most of your funding from, if you don't mind me asking?
We get small corporate sponsorships. We are 100% independent, and a lot of us are volunteers, so we don't pay ourselves to do this. It's a passion project.
Now, one of the filmmakers with us, Reabetswe Moeti, thank you so much for joining us. Your film is called Moeti, and I thought it quite telling that we have you with us today, because your story tells the story of one of the loved ones, of one of the people who lost their lives at Marikana. And just this week we commemorated 6 years since that tragic event that's really stained the South African landscape. Why did you decide it was important to tell the story from this perspective?
Moeti is based on a real-life story. Besides the fact that the Marikana tragedy was a real event, Moeti is a real person. She's a lady who worked for my family for about 14 years. And so we were sort of with her when this happened and her son was at the mines. So I thought it's a very important story, very close to home, that I needed to share.
The fact that you were so close to it, did it make it difficult to even decide where to start putting this together?
Very much. I had to fictionalize a lot of the content to also make it a compelling story.
So it's not a straight documentary,
No, it's a fiction film.
Fiction film, yeah.
So I had to cast people who, in a way, reflected the household, the family, and the time that it was happening. So I had to be very sensitive because it's, you know, it's a reveal in a way into that home and my family. So
let's take a look at the trailer for Moeti that will be showing at the Jozi Film Festival.
What's the bansipi? Seki mamela ka taba tsa strike tsena radio-ng yaka. Ho boima ka nnete.
Bana ba rona ba shwa ba sebetsa di-mining, ba sebeletsa lefela. Jwale ba shwa, ba lwanela lefela.
Now, Lisa, a story like that wouldn't necessarily be shown at a popcorn munching cinema down the road, and this is why a festival like yours is so important, isn't it?
Yes, I agree completely, and you know, Ria is just one of many filmmakers that will be highlighted at this year's festival. We are proud of each and every selection that we are showing this year, and I just wanted to say we are screening at the Bioscope in Maboneng, which is where we've always screened from year one. And this year we're adding a new venue, which is the Olive Tree Theatre in Alex. So we hope to attract a whole new crowd there this year and reach more people.
Fantastic. Let's bring in our other filmmaker, Joelle Chesselet. Now, Joelle, this is now a real change, a shift in gears from Reabetswe's a film that will be showing. Tell us what your film is about, because I wouldn't be able to explain it if I tried. So you tell us what your movie or film Pluck is about.
Okay, pluck has got a lot of pluck, but it's an alternative history of the new South Africa through the lens of Nando's advertising campaign over the last 20 so years. So it's a timeline, it's a history of our country, but at the same time it's seen through, it's a distilled history. It's not just political, it's also social. It's medicinal in that it makes you laugh, and at the same time it makes you think. It's poignant, and it was incredible making it and curating the ads. So there are a lot of Nando's ads.
Yeah, I was just saying, while we're speaking, we're showing the trailer while we are speaking, and all of them that you look at say, oh, I know that one. What made you decide that to tell that story using these adverts, as it were, would be a more interesting way of telling the story than just a normal old docu-style film?
Well, I guess it's because of the level at which you're going into a distillation of the history, and you're getting moments that have been really thought about by agencies that had their ears to the ground, were into social commentary, so were able to capture what was going on in the country at the time. And we've always, Lloyd Ross is the director, and myself, we've always appreciated those ads and thought that it would be amazing to have a parallel sort of a timeline with Archive, South African History Archive, and at the same time show these ads to compound, the history, but in that kind of way that isn't just straight. It's actually one step. It's one step to the side, and it brings laughter in, but it also Nando's advertising debate, and Nando's advertising has got a lot of gees, as they say, and so it shows the South African spirit in its kind of best light.
Now, there used to be a time where speaking about advertising and branding and all of these things used to be the complete world of people who work in agencies, that work in advertising. They were the only experts that were able to have an opinion. But the kind of stuff that the Nando's team started coming up with really broke the mold, in that it allowed ordinary people to have an opinion of how advertising affects us, makes us think about things, and also debate us, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's become a sort of political space. It's like some advertising agencies do have a conscience, and in that way it is a very good illustration of that strange merge between capital and opinion, I suppose, but in a constructive way. So it's
was Nando's very involved in the making of this, or were you able to ask them a few maybe some difficult questions about their processes and that kind of thing?
Yeah, definitely. There are a few sections that do highlight the sort of sexism of some of the ads that and Cheryl Carolus, in fact, one of the interviewees, really points it out. And there was no interference from Nando's. We merely managed to get to Robbie Brosen, who founded Nando's, and who gave us what they call a sandpit fund to kind of make the film. But it's an independent documentary, and the reason why we chose to do it was because it's unique. There's no other agency that has kind of had their ear to the ground in that way and been able to tell that kind of story. And when you put it together, it's quite a it's a diverse view of the country.
Perfect. Now, Lisa, just before we let you go, you need to tell us about a certain part of the festival, the Discovery Channel partnership, which is looking at finding films that they could then potentially show on their channel. Tell us more about that.
Right, so we began this partnership with them last year. This is our second year. What we do as Jozi Film Fest is put out a call for submissions for 2 to 5 minute short docs. We then, with a Discovery jury, select a top 10, and those are now being broadcast on Discovery Channel, and the public votes, and the winner will be announced at our awards alongside all our award winners, and we're just grateful to offer African filmmakers that opportunity.
And then just very quickly, back to you, just very quickly, I'm going to get into trouble, Reabetswe. This is obviously a very serious story to tell.
Yes.
Do you believe that story is done and that story has now been told about Marikana?
No, I don't think so. I think there's plenty of other perspectives. I think there are more people with stories to tell. I think there are more angles to tell the story from. So I don't think we would ever have told the entire story. It's like talking about apartheid, even though there's this thinking that the South Africans are apartheid fatigue. But I think that because we still have so many issues that we deal with as part of what has been caused by it, that we would not have ever told the entire story.
We thank you so much for your time. The Jozi Festival is on in September. I'm sure you can find details online. Elisa Henry, Reabetswe, Moeti, and Joelle Chesselet.